Hey guys, Lord here, back in with another action figure review. And no, your eyes do not deceive you. We have not looked at this guy before because today I'm going to be taking a look at the Star Wars Black Series Wal-Mart exclusive. Oh, jeezum. A moderate jeezum, but not a full-blown jeezum, because I was able to just order this guy off the site, unlike most Target exclusives, so there you go. But today we'll be taking a look at the Revenge of the Sith 20th Anniversary Magna Guard, because your boy wanted another Magna Guard, and the Jedi Fallen Order one wasn't cutting the mustard. This one, in fact, does cut more than just the mustard, but not the cheese, if you know what I mean. That said, this of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, who will remain fine folks despite the fact that, well, the same issues I had with the previous Magna Guard are prevalent here, because this guy also has a pair of shoulder pads that do not want to stay on him to save my freaking life. I don't know what the dealio is. I don't know if they're just too big, if the peg holes should be better. I don't know. These are friction hinges. They should have just been pegged in there. I would have made the pegs bigger. I would have been okay if these had straight up peg holes through them to keep them on there. In fact, I might see if the old man can't glue these on, not only to this guy, but my other one, because they are annoying me that freaking much. That said, he of course comes with his shocky stick. This is a very Clone Wars era shocky stick. I remember my 3.75 inch Clone Wars Magna Guard having one of these. So that tickles my fancy, if you know what I mean. Then he also comes with this shocky stick, which is probably the better of the two, because the effects just kind of plug into the end like a lightsaber would. They're very tight though, so I'm not going to pop them off here. However, I gravitate more towards this because it's what I had as a kid. And no, I'm not going to say the N-word because, well, how can I feel that way about a toy I just bought? A good friend of mine pointed that out recently, and you know what? I have to agree with that. That's freaking stupid. Can't be the N-word about something you just bought. For all you narcs come in my comment section, no, it's not that N-word. So, taking a closer look at our Magna Guard. He has a very confusing cape. I'm not entirely sure how this thing is supposed to sit on him, because this long piece here is not exactly attached to much. And then he does have like a piece that goes over his arm and kind of tucks under his armpit, and then this part drapes over his right shoulder. I think this is how this is supposed to go, but I wouldn't quote me on it. I'd watch somebody smarter. I'm also probably going to do a little research to figure out how the frickin' shoulder pads is supposed to attach, because they either are just supposed to fall off, or I don't know, I'm just an idiot and don't know how they go on. But as far as his articulation goes, his head is on a double ball peg. That can lean back and forth, tilt side to side. I will say, I did actually have to heat his head up, pop it off, and slide the sleeve onto his arm. It wasn't like that in the package. So heat this guy up first, pop the head off, and do that, because the cape will sit a little bit better that way. He does have this hood piece that you can remove. It's a bit of a pain in the butt though, so be mindful of that. Let me flip this little shoulder piece up here. You can see the little nubbins for the pauldrons. Let me just demonstrate how this thing just falls off. See, it won't, it doesn't grip onto this. It's so stupid. It's like too soft, or like too wide, not tight enough. I don't, what the Sam Hill is going on here? Like, I've never seen pauldrons this sucky on a figure before, but this guy's definitely he's definitely taking the cake. Now, it's staying on there for the moment, but if you move the arm up, it's just going to pop off. So his arms can move up really far if you take it off, though. Put it back down. You can rotate it around. He does have the beautiful, well, actually, he's got a ball socket in there. You can shift his arm up and down, which is pretty nifty. He does have a single jointed elbow with rotation. That's fine. His wrists have rotation here, as well as down here. So he essentially has ball hinge wrists, which is not common on Hasbro figures. So that's kind of nice. He's got crazy fingers though, so be careful putting the staff in his hand. His torso is on a swivel. It does appear to be a ball joint, but you don't get much out of that. His hip range is terrible. Like, he doesn't kick out at all. He does have a little bit of a thigh quiver in there. Feels like it's like a double ball peg, but you don't get any range out of that. Single jointed knee. No rotation, really. I mean, you could probably get some. Feels like it wants to move, but it's going to hit this front piece. So maybe heat this, and then this will flex and get out of your way. But other than that, you don't get much for like any like hip movement. And it kind of sucks, because it's like there's plenty of points where they could have maybe fit that in there, but it just doesn't do anything. He does also have a hinge in the foot with a very steep rocker. Again, no rotation in the lower leg of any kind. So his leg articulation is crap, but his arm articulation is really good. I guess his knee bend is really good. He gets like a little past 90. But yeah, not the best as far as articulation goes. But it's a Magna Guard. I love Magna Guards. I think they're probably the coolest droid out there. Them and maybe the Commando droids. Although the droidecas, because they're like the crazy shooty bang bangs with the big shields. I don't know. I like the droids. I think there's something to be had with them. I know a lot of people like the dog on the prequels, but I think the Magna Guards should at least get a pass. They're pretty gnarly, especially in that one episode of Clone Wars where the clones get sucked into the lair of General Grievous and they're all like hanging off the ceiling with wires and stuff. They come alive and start kicking their butts. That was pretty awesome, not gonna lie. But what else is awesome is the fact that back in the day, Toys R Us had a big arse Revenge of the Sith display filled with figures on that Darth Vader card with all the flames and stuff. I thought that was so very sick. And, it just makes me miss the days of Toys R Us, back when stuff was a little bit easier to find. I mean, geez, nowadays, you'll be lucky if the store gets their exclusive and doesn't just put the tag out. A Target! So, there you go. There's our Magna Guard, ready to protect Count Dooku's behind, or Grievous's behind, but fail miserably because both of those guys died. So there you go. I'm not going to put his pauldrons on just to save me the aggravation. Maybe I'll do it in between clips, but I wouldn't count on it. Those things suck and like to fall off, so yeah. I will say, he's a little different from the other one as well. I think the paint might be a little bit different on this guy. And his cape is a little bit more tattered. I think the other one, his cape was pretty clean. This one, his cape is tattered, which is even more like Clone Wars, because I think they were always tattered in that. But I could be wrong. But with that being said, enough rambling. It's now time that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's our good old Magna Guard. Friendly neighborhood Magna Guard, whatever you want to call him. He's a Magna Guard nonetheless, alongside a couple other characters from Revenge of the Sith. We got Commander Bakara, the last Revenge of the Sith character that I bought, at least as of the time I'm recording this review, as well as a scene that almost made me cry, which is funny because I was kind of like growing out of that at the time, but good old Master Plo Koon, Jedi Master Plo Koon, Master Plo, man, because by the time I got around to watching Revenge of the Sith, I had already grown super attached to Plo Koon thanks to Clone Wars. And to see him get shot down and die, yeah, that sucked. Like all those Jedis, like Aayla Secura, Kit Fisto, Luminara, Shakti, Ki-Adi-Mundi, all them guys getting cucked out royally in Revenge of the Sith. That was hard to sit through. More so than Anakin killing all those snot-nosed brats. So, there you go, getting these two out of the way. These two's colors kind of match. Interesting. With the purple and the white and the kind of the blacks and grays or whatever. Bringing our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith, and the infamous Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from having the same issues I had with the previous Magna Guard releases, this is exactly what I wanted from this Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary reissue of the Magna Guard, a second one to go alongside my deluxe General Grievous. Yes, they're not perfect, but I think they're going to look sick on display together, and I cannot wait for that day, because at the moment I do have two Imperial Guards with the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, and that looks pretty sick. I think I need to swap him out for Darth Sidious, but I digress. Either way, I'm very much looking forward to getting my Star Wars display where I want it to be, and rest assured there will be two of these guys flanking my Grievous, even though they're a little different. Definitely better than the video game version from the 3-pack. Was it Jedi Fallen Order? I don't know what was going on with that one, but it just wasn't cutting the mustard. This one cuts more than the mustard, and I couldn't be happier to own it, despite its flaws. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.